Hello, this is the Watchdog, and welcome back to Fun with Watches. If watches weren't fun, you'd only need one. Today we're going to review the TPW K7006 field watch. Start with the wrist check. I'm still wearing this Pagani Design PD 1728 homage to a 5711 Nautilus. And Greg was wearing my other TPW, the K7017, which is a much bigger field watch. Grogu said Ponda Baba started a GoFundMe to purchase a prosthetic arm since Obi-Wan Kenobi cut his arm off at the Mos Eisley Cantina. He asked him how much he raised so far, and he said only 25 credits. Grogu asked him what that would get him, and he said a mannequin's arm at the Mos Eisley JCPenney's. Alright, let's take a look at the watch. As you can see, this is really your basic field watch on a NATO strap. And it doesn't look too bad for $8. This is the first TPW on my channel, costing only $8. It is the ultra affordable range. This is a basic field watch and really not bad looking considering the price. The field watch is a basic beater watch meant to be taken outside fishing, hunting, camping, etc. So is this watch up to that task? Unfortunately, no, because there's no water resistance, not even the bare minimum of 30, which is unfortunate because other than that, this seems to be a great watch for the money. The watch is 40.9 millimeters at the bezel, 46.9 millimeters lug to lug. It's 10.9 millimeters thick if you include the double pass NATO strap, and it's only 8.5 millimeters if you don't. Has a 22 millimeter lug width and only weighs 47 grams on the supplied NATO strap. And as you can see, the bezel is just your basic bezel with the same finish as the rest of the watch. Then the dial has no writing on it other than the hour markers. And being a field watch, it has the 24 hours on the inner. And then it has minute markers on the chapter ring. Then the hands are your basic sword hands, fairly thin. And the second hand is just a thin second hand with no lume, but the hour and minute hands are lumed. And as you can see, there is no date. The crown is a push-pull because you're not going to get a screw down if you have no water resistance at all. But the crown action isn't bad because this is a Japanese movement, and if you go to set it, oh, you gotta be careful, but if you go to set it, you can do it without jumping. Let's try that again. Well, there is a minute hand jump. Okay. I thought I was having no problem setting it earlier, so I thought that was going to be one of my likes. Then the crystal is just your flat mineral glass. This is a $8 watch. You're not going to get sapphire. I'm pretty sure it's glass and not acrylic. Feels like glass. Then the case is a PVD coated alloy. This is not stainless steel, of course. You're not going to get stainless steel for $8. Then if we look at the case back, which we can do easily since this is a NATO, we got the TPW name. Then it says stainless steel case back, which is another tell that the rest of the case is not steel. Then it says Japan movement and made in China. As you can see too, it's pretty scratched up because the little slot to remove the case is really small and not much of a gap, and so the tool kept slipping. So in the future, I'd probably get a really tiny screwdriver instead to open this up. The reason I popped the case back was to look at the movement. It's a TMI PC21S. TMI is owned by Seiko, so this is a Seiko design. And it looks like the second hand does hit the marks for the most part. Kind of off a little bit, but not enough to annoy anybody. The strap is a double pass NATO. The hardware is kind of thin, but it'll still do the job. This watch is not heavy. And the buckle's fine too. The prong isn't all loose and flappy. And this canvas is kind of rough, but it will break in. And I think it's a pretty decent strap considering the price. Here's the watch on my 7.5-inch wrist. I think it looks nice. It looks like a field watch. It's nice and thin, so it doesn't wear too high considering it's on a NATO. That's one problem with double pass NATO, is sometimes it really jacks up your watch thickness. But this one's so thin to begin with. And here's the watch on one of them Pagani Design Bond NATOs. Yeah, that's only a 20mm strap, and it's a 22mm leg width, but you can still put a 20 and a 22 if it's a NATO. Here we are in the Lume room. Let's face it, an $8 watch is not going to have good lume, but we'll test it anyway. As we speed up the time, we see only the main hands are lumed, and they are fading pretty fast, but I've seen a lot worse, but still not good lume. What do I like about this watch? Well, it's a nice looking watch for the money. And I like the fact that it has a Japanese movement. And I like the fact that the second hand mostly hits the marks. What are my gripes and groans? No water resistance. This is a field watch. It has to have water resistance. That's just unheard of. That's uncalled for. That was just a bad decision. Even if they had to raise the price $2, I don't understand why there's no water resistance. And the case back slot's really small. It was really hard to pry off the case back because I couldn't get the tool in the slot. Once it came off, once you got it in the slot though, it comes off really easy because there's no water resistance, so it's not very tight. In fact, I was able to snap the case back on with just my thumbs. Do I recommend this watch? No, I just can't recommend a field watch with no water resistance whatsoever. If it just had the basic 30, I would be shouting from the mountaintop what a great value this is. But no water resistance does not makes this not a field watch. Well, thank you for watching my review of the TPW K7006, and I will be back with another review. Be sure and like and subscribe to my channel. Bye.